So recently, Jaylen Brown dropped 40 points on the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think it's a sign of what is to come. From the playoffs until now, he's shown that he can be an all-star caliber player, and I expect him to play like that for the rest of the season. When comparing the player Jaylen Brown is right now to the player that he was a few seasons ago, I think it's obvious how much he has improved. His ball handling is way better than it was before, as he's able to break down defenders much easier. He's a more consistent shooter, whether that be in the corner spotting up or hitting pull-up three-pointers. He's even a great mid-range shooter, which isn't as important in today's NBA, but it's great to have it in your game. He's more aggressive on his drives to the basket, and he's always looking to draw contact. He's off to a great start to the season, averaging 28 points, shooting over 40% from 3, and over 60% on his mid-rangers. So if Jaylen Brown is playing so well, why do the Boston Celtics look like they're just going to be a first or second round exit? In the past, when Jaylen was playing really well, the Celtics looked like they could pair up against any team in the league. But right now, that doesn't seem to be the case. And obviously that's not Brown's fault. He's starting the season off great, like I said. But the Celtics seem to be missing something. Tatum has gone off to an okay start to the season. We all remember that game winner he hit on Giannis, and then he tried to do the same thing against the Pacers, and it didn't really go so well. I think for him, he'll eventually find his rhythm and be that consistent 25 point per game scorer that we all know he can be. But his only issue right now is that he's settling for jump shots again. This was something that he struggled with in his first 2 years in the league. He would take too many jumpers instead of driving to the basket. And I thought he fixed this last season when he had a career high in free throw attempts with 5. But now he's back down to his rookie sophomore year stats with only taking 3 free throws a game. So I don't understand why he's going backwards with this. In order for the Boston Celtics to see true success, they need Jayson Tatum to be that guy. They need him to be that number one option that is aggressive when driving to the basket and isn't settling for jump shots on nearly every possession. So, let's say Tatum figures out the free throw things and the rest of his season turns out well. Both him and Jaylen Brown have great seasons where they're averaging around 25 points per game, whatever it may be, enough to push this team into the top 4 seed of the East. But what about the rest of the squad? They seem to be lacking some sort of talent that isn't there. And I know you're probably saying to yourself, oh, well, Kemba's injured. When he gets back, everything will be okay. But will it? I mean, do you remember what happened in the playoffs last season? Kemba looked like just your average point guard, not a guy that was an all-NBA player right before he joined the Celtics. So I don't think Kemba is going to come back and immediately fix all these issues. And it's not only about him being inconsistent in the playoffs, it's also about his health. He seems to be injured every single year at some point, whether it be his knees or something else about him. The dude is always injured. And don't get me wrong, I'm a UConn guy. I love Kemba. I always have loved Kemba. But I wouldn't say he's the real solution to the problem that the Celtics have, which is lack of talent. If you look at the guys that Boston is putting out there compared to last season, you would expect this team's offense to drop a little bit, but their defense to get even better. However, things haven't turned out that way so far. Their defense has been a little shaky as they're sitting as the 24th best defensive team in the league, and their offense has been a little better as they're the 9th best offensive team in the league. But going into this season, I don't think people were expecting this. Gordon Hayward is gone, Kemba's hurt, and they added Tristan Thompson, Jeff Teague, and some rookies. So by adding Tristan to the team, he was supposed to bring some defense, rebounding, little athleticism, and some switchability. And it's a little too early to tell how it's going so far. Brad is still trying out some things, playing Tice and Tristan together, which has been okay for the most part. I do like how Tice can spread out the floor a little bit, which allows Tristan to be the main guy setting picks. But when Thompson gets the ball down low, he either throws up a shot or just passes it right back to the guy that passed it to him. So I think the Celtics need to limit how much freedom Tristan gets on offense, but maybe giving him more time as the main center on defense where Tice is on the bench so we could see what it's like defensively might be a positive for him in this team. Peyton Pritchard has been a really nice surprise for this season. He was taken late in the first round with the 26th pick, and no one really expected him to get as much playing time as he has. He has some playmaking duties that helps Tatum and Brown keep the ball moving. He's also probably their best spot-up shooter, and on defense, he's always putting in his full effort. There's some times when he's definitely outmatched and not athletic enough to keep up with some of the quicker players in the NBA, but it's great to see that their rookie is so willing to put his full effort on defense. Besides the playmaking duties, it kinda seems like Pritchard is what we thought Nesmith was gonna be. The Celtics took Nesmith with their 14th pick in the draft, which was their best pick, and many thought that they were going to package multiple picks together to move up and select someone better, but Nesmith falling to 14 was actually a huge surprise. And that's why I think a lot of people expected him to get a ton of playing time, because he was an amazing three-point shooter in college. So I'm not really sure what it is with him, whether his shot is off, his IQ isn't ready for the NBA, or his body isn't ready for the NBA. But I don't really understand why Brad isn't playing this guy more. I mean, they took him with their best pick in the draft, and they took a guy that they desperately needed. They needed a spot-up shooter that could play defense, especially after losing Hayward, who was kind of a do-it-all guy for this Celtics team. He could run the point guard, he could spot up in the corner, he could defend the other team's best player, he could hit pull-up mid-rangers. He doesn't do anything on a super elite level, but Hayward brought so much to this team, and we thought Nesmith might have been able to fill some of those holes that were left behind with Hayward leaving. But unfortunately, we haven't been able to see that yet. He's only played in a few games, and when he does play, he only plays around 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not even going to mention his shooting splits or anything about his stats because he just hasn't played enough. Moving over to their other new addition in Jeff Teague, I really like it. He's kind of another guy that's gonna replace what Brad Wanamaker brought off the bench a little bit in the playoffs and in the regular season. And I think his true value lies in his shot creation, because last year there was a lot of times when they're relying on Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum to create their own shots, and then they have a few other guys that could do the same. Marcus Smart a little bit, Gordon Hayward when he's healthy, Kemba when he's out there, but the rest of the guys just can't create their own shot. And now that Kemba's hurt, no more Gordon Hayward, and Marcus Smart is inserted into the starting lineup, the Celtics needed someone that can create their own shot. It might not be at the most elite level, but Jeff Teague is a veteran point guard in the NBA, which is definitely valuable for this team. I mentioned Wanamaker before, and I just want to say that losing him was a bigger deal than most Celtics fans realize. He did a lot of the little things off the bench that Grant Williams, Semi Ojeleye, Robert Williams, and these other bench role player type of guys can't do. So I think when the playoffs roll around, we're going to see how truly valuable Jeff Teague really is to the Celtics, because right now they just don't have a lot of guys out there that draw in the attention of the other team's defense. So hopefully when Kemba comes back, he helps that out a little bit, and the rest of the guys start to figure things out, but the Celtics don't look like they're going to be that team that reaches the NBA Finals. I hope they turn around. Anything could happen. We'll have to wait and see how the rest of the season goes. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, leave a comment down below and like to show your support. Also, if you're new, subscribing really helps the channel grow. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.